harmed in service to our country. I've supported several bills to take care of our veterans. In February of this year, I supported a bill that passed the Senate called the Health Care for Burn Pit Victims Act, which extends the eligibility period for combat veterans who served after 9/11 and were exposed to toxic substances, so they're able to receive care at the VA. I've also supported the VA Mission Act, the Dr. Kate Hendricks Thomas Service Act, the Team Caregivers Act, and the Veterans Appeal Improvement and Modernization Act, all of which expand care for veterans. When the war in Afghanistan came to a close, I proposed using those funds saved by ending the war to give a $2,500 bonus to all members of the military who served in the global war on terrorism. We must take care of our veterans and keep our country strong. This bill puts our economy, though, at risk by creating presumptions of service connection for the most common of ailments. For example, this legislation creates a presumption of service connection for Vietnam veterans for hypertension. But according to the CDC, 50% of men and 44% of women in the United States have hypertension. More than 60% of people over the age of 60 have hypertension. In total, the CDC estimates that 116 million Americans have hypertension. The legislation also creates a presumption of service connection for global war on terror veterans for asthma. The CDC estimates that 1 in 12 people have asthma, which is approximately 25 million Americans. This bill would cost hundreds of billions of dollars at a time when the national debt is climbing over $30 trillion and inflation is at a 40-year high. But the federal debt was created by Congress and not our vets and those who serve the armed services should not be the ones to pay the cost for government mismanagement. That's why I propose that we pay for this bill by establishing a 10-year moratorium on foreign aid and dispersed by USAID, except for Israel. USAID is riddled with waste, and those dollars can be better put to use to help take care of our veterans' health care. Just this year, USAID unveiled a $50 million Visit Tunisia program to encourage more tourism in Tunisia, although Tunisia is already one of the most visited countries in Africa. In 2016, USAID started a program to help the Afghan government help farmers as it cut checks to NGOs to fund Afghan farmers. The program paid for 72 farmers to receive drip irrigation, pipes, wheelbarrow, 2,000-liter water tank, and a 5-kilowatt generator for a cost of $87.9 million. Whether the systems are still in function or actually built is another question. USAID spent over $37 million to assist the Filipino government to get roughly 3 million Filipinos back to school. Maybe we ought to do the same in America. USAID devoted $20 million to teach the Laotian language. In another instance, USAID allocated up to $150,000 to send 10 Koreans to Washington, D.C. for 2 weeks to learn about climate change activism. That's a great use of our money. Wouldn't Congress rather spend the money on our veterans? Wouldn't it make more sense to spend taxpayer dollars on veterans who have risked it all for their country than on encouraging travel to Tunisia? That's why I seek my colleagues' support for my amendment that would help pay for the hundreds of billions of dollars in this bill. Our veterans should come first. I ask your support for my amendment on this pay-for amendment. Thank you.